You assume that because your patient records are kept in a specialized medical system, your clinic is shielded from common internet threats. That assumption is exactly what allows an attacker to slip past your front door and lock every digital file in your office. By the time your staff reaches for a patient chart or tries to process a payment, every terminal displays a ransom note, and your daily operations stop. Instead of seeing patients, you are suddenly facing weeks of downtime, heavy fines, and a massive loss of trust from the community you serve. The mistake is thinking your software provider manages all your security for you. Relying on them creates a massive blind spot that criminals exploit to lock your files. What actually matters is controlling how your network is accessed. I will show you how to spot these gaps and what to do first so you can stop these attacks before they start. You might glance at your patient's schedule for the coming week and find yourself thinking, we're just a small practice, so why would anyone waste their time targeting us? I know cyber threats are real, but I'm completely overwhelmed by the technical language and have no idea where our biggest vulnerabilities are actually hiding. I'm Kevin, founder of Sentree Systems, and for over 2 decades, I have seen ransomware encryption paralyze practices. So let's prepare yours. Think of your practice like a busy medical clinic where you keep the front entrance open for patients, but rely on internal locks to protect the sensitive inventory in the back. Most owners focus entirely on the front entrance, assuming the building is safe, but they leave the back loading dock wide open. Criminals do not break windows. They simply walk through the unlocked loading dock and lock your supply rooms from the inside. This happens because you assume specialized tools guard themselves. I use isolated access to verify every entry point, forcing you to stop trusting every connection and effectively closing the loading dock so no one gets in without a verified key. Healthcare practices face a massive surge in incidents where attackers target the specific software used to house patient information to force a full stoppage of care. Recent investigations show that simple neglect of administrative access points leads to multi-$100,000 penalties and long-term loss of patient records. Standard configurations often fail because they treat every internal connection as safe, allowing a single infected device to act as a bridge for the entire office. I arrived at a clinic that had just realized every single workstation was frozen, and the entire staff was standing in a silent, empty waiting room. When one device connects to the network, the entire business becomes an open target for a total system lockout. I walked into the office, and the lead administrator silently pointed to a flickering monitor showing the ransom demand on their main dashboard. The staff were frantic, having already tried restarting every server and router in the building, but the screen stayed locked. It was a scene of total helplessness as they realized their frantic attempts to regain control were just wasting time, while their business remained effectively dead in the water. I logged into the primary network controller and immediately spotted the unauthorized remote access logs that had been active for months. The screen was a map of their digital downfall, revealing hidden directories that had been slowly harvested and encrypted by a foreign actor. The silence in the room became heavy and suffocating as the owner realized that their patient data had been exposed for weeks. We discovered that years of patient records and financial history were encrypted and held for a massive ransom payment. Forensics revealed the intruder had gained entry through a poorly secured remote connection meant for an external vendor. I told the owner the hard truth that their current setup made this breach a matter of when, not if, because they lacked isolated access. The entire leadership team just stared at the floor, finally understanding that their lack of verification had invited the catastrophe inside. We spent days manually scrubbing the infected systems and forcing new, strict access requirements on every single device in the practice. The damage to their reputation and the loss of patient confidence was a scar that no amount of technical work could ever fully erase. I see this same operational gap in small businesses every single week. Successful owners stop trusting their default settings and apply isolated access to every part of their digital office as their non-negotiable standard. We need to stop the bleed and get your controls tight before an incident occurs. You can take control of your network right now by following these steps. First, identify every external connection to your network, including those for vendors or remote work, and disable any that are not being used daily. Next, enforce isolated access by requiring a second independent check before any administrative or remote login is allowed to connect to your patient records. Finally, audit your staff access levels to make sure no one has more control over your files than they need to do their actual work. This is how you stop guessing, keep your patient data safe, and ensure that one small mistake does not turn into a business-wide disaster. You have the power to fix this today. If you could rethink one thing today, it's the delusion that your clinic is too small for hackers to notice. They don't care who you are, only that you'll pay. Relying on an unprepared EHR system is an invitation to catastrophic data loss that could dismantle your practice overnight. If you want to run a baseline security assessment on your own network or business assets to see where your defenses are vulnerable, click the link in the description below to execute our 10-minute cyber health audit. Let's protect your client files and your reputation before tomorrow morning.